It's a Saturday and it's another episode of the Steady Abroad podcast with the Fred Effect. My guest is catching up with Ola. Today we are going to go a little bit of Nigeria. We go everywhere some. So let's get going. A little introduction to people tuning in to see your beautiful face for the first time.
Well, my name is Ola. My full name is Ola Emeka. I have a YouTube channel. I have like different streaming platform basically, but my YouTube channel is called Catching Up with Ola. I'm also a YouTuber, and I've been in the US for approximately 5 years now, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the conversation today is definitely gonna be nice. So tune in.
Awesome. Let's get right into it. Where are you originally from in Nigeria? What was your academic qualification prior to relocating to study in the US?
Interesting. So originally I'm from Osun State, is like the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria, the
Right.
Yoruba demons. We are not demons anyway. My academic qualification, so I had like a bachelor's degree in English language and education. And yeah, and that was like what I used to come into the US. So I came in for my master's originally. So yeah, and since then it's just been a fun ride.
I see. Awesome. So, what inspired you to want to study abroad? For a lot of people, I've asked this question to a lot of people, and the answers have been amazing. Let me hear from you. What actually pushed you to want to study abroad?
Okay. So I say this a lot. I feel like since like I was in so initially, let's backtrack a little bit. When I
Hmm.
left high school, I wanted to come to Ghana to study. Fun fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Shout out to Ghana, man.
I wanted to
That
come
means
to school.
your travel abroad study destination is supposed to be my country, right?
So I wanted to come to this school called Central University, Accra, Ghana.
Yes, it's in Accra. Yeah.
Because yeah, because like there's a church member of mine that was going to that school, and
Mm.
I wanted to come to that school to study law. But because I was still young, my mom was like, no, none of my kids would travel abroad like at a very young age, right?
Right.
So like, yeah, like I don't know anybody. This other person is like of the opposite gender. I mean,
Mm.
it's kind of older than me, but it's just, you cannot really trust someone, especially it is young. So we are both kind of like trying to figure out life. So I eventually went to this federal university in Nigeria. I got
Mhm.
admission this year when I left high school. And like every year that I was in school, there was always one strike or the other. And for people that are not Nigerian, strike is just like when school is not in session, basically.
Okay.
So my mom would constantly say, oh, and this is my child, our education is fast because initially I was supposed to leave college at 19. That's when I
Hmm.
was finish college. But because of the strike, I did not finish until like 2021. So my mom would be like, or should we just try abroad? And I was the one that kind of like slowed your path down. So that's when I started looking into like studying abroad, but it didn't really become reality to me because I will start it, then we'll resume strike again. I will give up. I'll be like, oh, I don't want to start again. I'll continue again. But when I left after school, I did like service. I think you also do it in Ghana where you do like this compulsory service to the country. So I did
Right.
like NYSC, and then the question was like, what is next after this? So I said I wanted to do my master's, and I registered for master's at University of Lagos, Unilag. So it was the day that we went to write the exam. That's the day I just knew that I am done with everything Nigeria. So
So,
like they
so
are just
exams to get you into a master's degree
into
in
a
Nigeria.
master's degree program at University of Lagos.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was
So,
supposed to do like educational psychology at
oh,
University
okay.
of Lagos. And then they gave us like, oh, these are the past questions. These are like the
Mm,
things that would eventually come out of the exam. Only for
mm,
me to get now, remember, I said I studied English language and education in my bachelor's degree, meaning that I've not really been doing mathematics, right? Only for me to get into that examination hall, and it had nothing to do. This is a master's degree, for crying out loud. It had nothing to do with like things that are already done. It even had nothing to do with the past question. It's a different thing if it was like mathematics. It was literally further mathematics, and I was like, what is going on here? But I mean, when I was in high school, I loved mathematics, so I just kind of like had to now imagine after how many years I had to like refresh my knowledge of, okay, this is what you can just pitch together to just just finish this exam and all. So after the exam, I was like very angry, and I was talking to people, and then they said that what had happened was that educational psychology did not set their own question on time. So they used the question for test and measurement. Now, test and measurement is mathematics heavy. So they were the one that set our question. And I was like, So I got home that day, like how you've been preparing for exam, and after exam you are supposed to rest. I got home that day, I'm like, enough is enough. I have to find a way to get this abroad thing right. And I started my school search that night. I was supposed to be sleeping. I started my school search that. Eventually I got into the Unilag because I initially thought I wasn't gonna, but obviously I passed. I used my knowledge of mathematics and I passed. But yeah, that was just like, I just feel like I needed to go through that experience to actually give me that push to actually leave the country. So yeah, that was it.
And I like the fact that you had an experience trying to apply for masters. I don't have that experience of applying for masters home. So we are going to compare when you started working on the application to study in the US
Mhm,
versus the application process of studying masters in Nigeria. Can you
mhm,
tell us the difference? There was an exams. Obviously, in the US one, there is nothing like an exams to get in.
mhm.
So talk to me about the differences. Recommendation letters are required here. I want you to walk us through that when applying for masters in Nigeria at the time you were doing it, and
Mhm.
when you were applying for masters in the US, to a Nigerian, to somebody listening to us, what is the difference?
So honestly, I would say that for the Nigerian one is like pretty much straightforward. You get the
Mhm.
form, I think you submit your transcripts or something, and then you just get the form, you write the entrance exam, and then with the entrance exam, you just have to pray, or you know somebody that knows somebody. I mean, as in Nigerian schools, you know somebody that knows somebody that can get you in, or you just pass. Like I feel like sometimes like when people really pass on merit, you don't even need to know someone because they always have like merit list and then they have like supplementary list. But I feel like that one is strictly straightforward compared to bachelor's degree where you have to write like the national exam. The only exam you are writing is for the particular school that you have selected. Although I know that for some schools are different because my sister applied for masters at University of Ibadan and they asked them for recommendation letter before even writing the exam. But for Unilag, I cannot remember them asking us for recommendation letter. We write the exam and then eventually we got the admission.
I see. And was this admission to Unilag going to come with a scholarship compared to when you are applying to university in the US? You expect to get scholarship with it.
Which scholarship? Who wants to give you scholarship? I mean, so typically some people do work and study, but like as at that time, and that's why because I was living in Ibadan, that's why I wanted to do my master's in Unilag because I was already working in Lagos. So that's why I wanted to do my master's in Unilag. So the expectation is like once you are working, you're able to foot your bills. So it's not like anybody. I don't know if I feel like there would be. I know that some of my classmates were doing work and study, but I had job outside of campus, so there was no point because it was even already a lot. I even had to resign my job at a point when we had resumed because it was just a lot for me because I was a full-time student. I was also a full-time worker, so it was a lot for me. Yeah, but I
How,
did.
how long did it take you from graduating from your bachelor's degree to starting your US application? So you mentioned that you had to do youth service. In Ghana, we call it the national service. So that
Mm-hmm,
means like that is for like a year.
mm-hmm.
But I want to know what was the time difference between graduating from your bachelor's and to starting the US applications?
Okay. So, fun fact, I was supposed to leave college in 2016, but because of
Mhm.
this whole strike thing, we left in 2017. The
Okay.
school I went to at that time is a very good school. Like when I say, oh, I finished from OAU, people hail us, but I feel like there were a lot of nuances that were not just aligning, especially with my department, because there were a lot of people in my department. So normally when you leave school, as we left in that 2017, we are supposed to go for national service in 2017. They don't release result on time. They would not release result until 1 year later. So they didn't release our result on time. By the time NYSC was like shortlisting people, our result was not ready. So all the whole of 2017 to the beginning of 2018, I was at home. Like people even started asking me, like, do you have extra year? Because I was at home doing nothing. And then 2018, I went for service. 2019, I came back from service. I wrote my Unilag exam in July of 2019. And that was the time I started my abroad application.
Okay, so it took like approximately 3 years.
So, yeah, typically 3 years. Yeah.
I see. All right. If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Catching Up with Ola.
Mm.
Ola has a YouTube channel which you have to subscribe to. I love it when people go through a process. They don't, keep things to themselves, and they want to share, let other people know that this is how I did it, and you can also do it. So
Mhm.
let's talk about your YouTube channel. We are going to talk about the universities you apply to, but let's talk about your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
How can we subscribe? What value are we going to get if we subscribe to it?
Okay. So I think there's no way I can talk about the value you get on my YouTube channel without saying what inspired me to actually start YouTube. So as at the time when I was applying, right, the only Nigerian I know that was doing study abroad, because I
Can I
obviously
guess?
video.
Can I guess this person?
Guess, I know
I
you
was
will
I,
know.
I was watching her video recently. She made a video about green card stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's the person. That's the
Yes,
person.
yes.
That's the
I
person.
mean, we have to give shout outs to her, and I can easily show her YouTube channel. What's her name? For people who don't
Aladi,
know her. Okay.
Aladi A. No.
I
A
don't know why
L
I
A
call her Olade
D I.
all the time.
No, I. No, I, not D.
Okay.
I. Okay, yeah. See her. A K. No, A K. Yeah, you see
All
her
right.
there.
Let's see.
Okay, that's
So
her.
I think this lady is like a legend in the study abroad space,
Yup.
right? Yeah,
Yup.
she actually paved the way. If you
For
talk
a
to
lot of
many,
us. Yeah.
yes, if you talk to a lot of people who are studying in the US, maybe some she sort of took a gap year sometime, but she is somebody who actually pioneered this whole study abroad videos and stuff like
Yep.
that. And so if you
Yep.
go to her channel, she has like a lot of videos. Imagine 155 videos. She has really paid her dues.
Mhm.
I'm surprised she still have 29,000 subscribers, but
I
this is a
think
lady who has,
yeah, on and off. I think that is part of it.
yes, this is a lady who has really put in the work. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know Aladi, I don't know. I used to call Oladi maybe because
No,
I'm
I
not
know
in Nigeria.
the
Yeah, Aladi Ako, right? What does it mean though? Do you understand what it
I
means?
don't know because it's not my language, so I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Aladi. I have been trying to link up with her to get her on the podcast, but she's somebody who pioneered this whole study abroad thing. She came
Mm-hmm.
and she started telling us about how, so if you talk to a lot of people who have the opportunity to study abroad, they will tell you this is a lady that they watch
Yep.
her videos. So if you've not subscribed to her channel, this is an opportunity for you to do so. Go to
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, search for Aladi and then Akoh, and then subscribe to her channel. She recently made a video about her green card story, stuff like that. She's that open flow and stuff like that. Please
Yeah.
subscribe to. Now, thanks to Aladi for inspiring you. Let's go back to you.
So anyway, so yeah, like at that time, like the only Nigerian I saw was like Aladiako. But like the difference was that Aladi was majorly talking for people in the STEM. And remember, like I was here from the scratch. I do not have anybody to help me, like, oh, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. I was literally just trying to answer questions for my art. So I just typed on Google, they bought our YouTube channel, like people that are studying abroad. And I was like, okay, I was trying to say, I was trying to follow a thing word for word, but like, I'm like, she's a science student. I mean, the US majorly favors STEM students, right? And I know I'm a non-STEM student. So why I was able to like gain some things from her, I also had to like figure things out by myself. So from that, I had to ask myself, like, this is someone that does STEM. I mean, I got admission, I got numerous admission after I came here. I've doing it by myself. It took me a lot of time, but I was eventually able to figure it out. So I decided that, okay, let me let people that are non-STEM know that there is also something for them in the US. And since then, I don't even want to count the number of people that have come to the US through just simple obedience of like just sharing my life and sharing my story with people. There's been like a lot of success stories. So
Awesome. And that's a huge impact, you know, when and mostly for some people, it's just like a lot of people are messaging me to talk about the same thing. Like, and
mhm,
so why don't I put it in a video form so that everybody can benefit from what I've been sharing? You know,
mhm.
and great. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, it's called Catching Up with Ola.
Exactly.
That's a great brand name. The brand is catchy and all that. So Catching Up, CATHING. If you're watching us on TikTok, Up with Ola. So Ola is OLA. Please subscribe. We are about 22,000, over 22,000 family members. Be part of it. She shares her journey and experiences and all that. So now let's come to the value. If I subscribe to Catching Up with Ola, what value am I getting?
Oh, I tell people that you get value, but you also, the first thing is that you need to be serious, because I feel like a lot of people, even after all this information is out there, they are waiting for someone to literally spoon feed them. And
Right.
I didn't even have that. Like when I was starting, I didn't even have a lot of. There are a lot of people right now on YouTube that are talking about these things. So if you are willing to be serious, there are a lot of
Mhm.
value. I talk about how you can study in the US without writing any exam, because that is exactly what I did. I talk about how you can find scholarship. I talk about how you can request for application fee waiver. I think I've also made a thing about job, how I got my job in the US, because I've been working for about 3 years now. I got job in the US. So it's not just for people that are outside of the country. It is also for international students in the US. Sometimes I talk about like challenges I'm facing, and I ask people to also share their challenges, just because I feel like when we are going through a challenge, we feel like we are the only one, but there are numerous of people that are going through that challenge. It just needs the courage of one person to come out to say, this is what I'm going through. So there are a lot of gem packed on my channel, and I'm definitely sure, of course, I have like 239 videos, so definitely there's a lot of value, there's a lot for you to gain. I also talk about visa interview, like I talk about people that went for their first interview that got denied, how they were able to change their story and go for their next interview. So it's a lot of things packed on my channel. So
And I like this aspect. Normally, we put out all this information, but sometimes somebody wants their documents to be reviewed. Somebody wants a one-on-one, conversation with you. I like the fact that you've also provided avenue for people to get in touch,
yeah.
because not everybody's story is the same. So, like, you were talking about Aladi talking about STEM. If there was an opportunity for you to talk to her directly and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, this is my case. How do we go about it?" And so I like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you have an option for people to get in touch directly with you. Let's talk about that. If I want to talk to Aladi, I want to talk to Ola
Hola.
directly, and for you to help me with anything, do you have an option for that? How do I
Yes.
get to enjoy that as well?
So once you go to my YouTube channel, you click on like something that shows like other link. I have like
Mhm.
TikTok, I have like Telegram, personal consultation. So you can click on personal consultation, and then
Right.
I'll just up on a call with you. We talk about like your challenges and like what you want me to help you with. So
All right.
basically that's what that is all about. For people that are kind of, because I know some people, maybe because they've tried it before and it didn't work for them, they would
Mhm.
rather allow somebody to hold their ends while they
Mhm.
are doing it. So that's what the personal consultation is all about.
All right,
But like,
let's walk people through one after the other. This is very important. This
mm,
aspect is very important because I don't. For me, I believe that if some of us who have had opportunity to go through this process claim to be busy, we put out the content or the information, and we
mhm,
think we are busy, and so when people reach out, we are not responding or stuff like that. Then it means if somebody who doesn't know how the process works goes ahead and scam people, then we are to be blamed. If we
mhm,
are not willing to, we who know the process, have
I
been
know
through
willing
it,
to help.
are not willing to hold people's hands, we have no business say complaining when people are scamming people. You
Mhm,
understand? Good. So let's go through. So if you go to Catching Up with Ola, you Google that, you put that on YouTube. This is the beautiful platform you see. And then there is a place where you click on more, and then it takes you to the personal consultation. Now, when you click on the personal consultation, this is what you're going to see. You see a Calendly link, and there are a lot of dates available where you can click on any of those dates. If you want a Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, click on those dates, select a date and a time that works for you, and you have an opportunity to talk with Ola directly. All right.
mm,
I really appreciate you for making that available for people to talk to you directly. If you are just tuning in, I've been speaking with Ola. She came all the way from Nigeria. And we will talk about the recent visa ban on Nigeria. Are there
mm,
options for them? Stuff like
mm.
that, all coming up. This is the biggest Steady Abroad content platform. It's called the Fred Effect podcast. So the whole idea for this Steady Abroad podcast is simple. People have been through the process. People are already studying in the universities you want to study in. People have the scholarships you want to apply to. Now you want to do the same. It's simple. I bring these individuals on so that they explain to you how they did it. How did they apply for the scholarship? How much did they spend? How long did it take them? Which universities did they even apply to? How were they able to get their scholarship? So that it makes it easier if you also want to study abroad. It makes it easier for you to enjoy it. My co-host is Ben. Ben is in the UK. He has two masters, one from India, originally from Ghana, and the other one from the UK. And then our guest is Catching Up with Ola. So we started with Ola's history, why she wanted to study abroad, and also what motivated her to do it. And then now she's also having a platform where she shares her experience and also providing an avenue for you to get in touch. Let's delve into the universities you apply to, Ola. So from Nigeria, after the getting the anger from writing the exams coming home, what universities did you start targeting? Oh, your microphone is muted. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So I typically tell people to not make the same mistake as I did then, because my school search took me like a long, now this was July, remember, and I was applying for fall of 2020. So I had a lot of time. My school search took me like a long process. So what I did was I went on Google because I didn't even know where to start. I went on Google. I kept the 50 states in the US. So I always wake up at midnight because of internet problem. At midnight, the internet is subsidized. So I'll wake up at midnight. I will say, okay, today I'm targeting 6 states. So it starts from Alaska. So I will enter Alaska, public universities in Alaska. I'll brush through their courses, look at their requirements, ask myself, do I have these requirements? I will note those schools down. So basically, that's how I was able to figure out all the schools I wanted to apply to. I went to all the states in the US. That's how I figured out. But of course, that takes a lot of time. Again, I started in July, so I had a long time to do that. So yeah, I mean, eventually I was able to streamline I applied to Vermont, I applied to Yukon, I applied to Miami, I applied to Kent, I applied to Northern Illinois, I applied to Oklahoma State, and then I applied to Cleveland.
So what we do so that makes it easier is that we share the website of these universities, right?
Okay.
And then our followers will be able to write them down. These are universities they can also work on. And eventually, which university did you come to?
I went to Miami University.
So people confuse. So you and I've had opportunity to be on the campus of Miami University a couple of times. Talk to what's the difference between Miami University and University of Miami? Because in Africa, if you talk about Miami, we know it's in Florida, right? And your university is in a different state. Talk to us about it.
So Miami University is the original Miami. That's what I tell people. No, the reason is because we became Miami University before Miami, Florida was even created. We were the ones that took the land of the Miamian people, and they named the school after them. Miami University was created long before even Florida as a state was. No, not Florida as a state. Long before Miami in Florida was created. So even they know that we are the original Miami. So
I see. I think this argument can go on, but just for people to have a visual idea of what we are talking about, and if you are searching for the school, it makes it easier for you. This is the website of Miami University. It's a great university. The campus is so beautiful. It's not like in a bigger city, even though it's closer to Cincinnati, bigger city. So I know there's some African markets where I used to go and get some wachi and stuff like that. But let's move on. Yeah, let's talk about Miami University and why you decided to choose this university.
Okay, so I got my admission in 2020, right? And COVID happened, and everybody was like busy with COVID, all of this. I was also worried about will I be able to keep my assistantship, because I did not come until 2021 because I had to defer my admission. But I think Miami stood out to me in the way that they were caring for me. Like, even though I already made my intentions known that, I would not be a part of this, right?
Okay.
Also with Miami, right? By the year before, because I did interview before I got my assistantship. The interview was in like before COVID started. Now, people have not really embraced virtual formats. I feel like with the schools, I had to like be explaining to myself that I couldn't be there because most of them had never had like international students from Africa. Like, most of them would say, even when I came to Miami, they were like, how did I find out Miami? I'll be the first person to apply to Miami that is international student from Africa. So Miami was the only one that was like, we'll work with you. Even if we had to do like virtual interview, we'll do all of that with you. So I feel like that just showed me that, okay, there's like a culture of care with like the program coordinator. She was always reaching out to me in between COVID, like, how are you doing? We cannot wait to have you in the fall, things willing, hopefully, like. So I just felt like that culture of care was like what stood out to me and why I chose Miami. So, because I wanted to go to a school that, you want to feel like you are a part of that system. So yeah.
And now there was like, whilst you were at Miami, there was a huge Ghanaian community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, shout outs to, I want to give shout outs to Ben. I don't know. We should shout outs to some of the friends you knew at Miami University. Ben. There was a GRASAC president who was also there as well. And I have a couple of friends at Miami University. It's a great university. If you are looking forward to applying for, especially for 2027, it doesn't matter what program, this should be one of the universities you should target. And you mentioned that you applied to other universities. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about them as well and see if you can share with our audience.
Okay. So I applied to Kent State.
Okay, I want to show the website as you mentioned them, and this is a one-man production, so uh, kindly be patient with me. Let's see if I can share them to our viewers. Okay. I don't know why I can't access the website of Kent State, but let me see if it is going to work here. Kent State University.
Mm-hmm.
And was this the same program throughout?
Yeah, so I applied to the same program. The only place that I applied to a different program was Cleveland State University. And
Oh,
also
okay.
that was the old school that rejected me.
Right. So this is Kent State University, and obviously Miami. Why the choice for only Ohio University? Because Miami is in Ohio, Kent State is in Ohio.
I also applied to other schools outside of Ohio as well. I applied to Vermont. I applied to Connecticut.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
feel like those two schools were just in Ohio, but I applied to other schools outside of Ohio as well.
I see. I like the way the universities are arranged in Ohio. So if you go to the south where Miami University is, you have Miami University, University of Cincinnati, University of Akron,
Mm-hmm.
University of Dayton,
Mm-hmm.
um, Wright State University,
Mm-hmm.
all within that same range. If you go to the
Yeah.
middle, southeast, you have Ohio University. If you go
Mm-hmm.
to the middle, you have University of Columbus University of Ohio State University in Columbus, and other universities. And the northern part, that is where Cleveland is. So this is the website of Kent State University. Remember, we already showed Miami University, and you said you applied to Cleveland State, right?
I applied to Cleveland State. Oh yeah, that's also why I applied to Cleveland State. Cleveland State
Okay.
was the first one I applied to,
Oh, I
actually.
see. Um, Cleveland State, they have a cheaper in terms of the application fee. So Cleveland State is at the northern, even though Kent State is at the northern part.
Cleveland and
Cleveland,
Kent
what
Cleveland and Kent, they are closer to each other.
exactly? So it's like 45 minutes drive from. I used to ride my bicycle from Kent State to like University of Akron, which is closer.
Oh
To
wait,
go
did
and
you go
get.
to Kent?
No, but I used to stay there around that
Oh,
that area. Yeah, so
okay.
Kent State to Akron is like a couple of minutes drive, so you can even ride bicycle to that place as well. All right. So Cleveland State is located at the northern part, and that's where um there's other universities over there as well. Youngstown State University is also closer and all that. And then you said University of Connecticut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see if I can get that as well. Connecticut. UConn is one of the biggest schools that in terms of the education field as well. So
Yeah.
let me share this. Okay, so UConn is located in the state of Connecticut. So University of Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
it's located in a city called Stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's where their major campus is. Okay, which other university that we can share?
Oklahoma State.
Okay. Okay. Is it the one at Stillwaters?
Yeah.
Okay. So Oklahoma State University. Um, let me see if I can show the screen. I love their colors. So beautiful. It just looks
Oh,
like
orange. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is Oklahoma State University. So these are
Mm-hmm.
if you are listening to us, just be writing them down. They are when you are back home. I think that if you do a Google search of universities in the US, what you get is very different from when you are in the US and searching for the same schools.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you type the same thing in Google, so if you're watching us in northern Ghana and you type universities in the US, those universities you're going to get are probably going to be the ones that are not going to admit you. There are some universities you never see them based on where you're searching. So this helps you. Okay, are there any other schools we have to share as well?
Um, Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois. Okay.
Mhm.
NIU. This is a good school. Like, how come you were able to identify these schools at that time?
I told you that I searched all the states.
And
That's why
and what were you using to select the schools? Is it the program you were looking for?
I was looking at the program, I was looking at the requirement because I didn't want to write any exam. And this was before COVID. Before COVID, majority of them were asking for exams. So the ones I applied to were the ones that said, don't write GRE.
Yeah, I feel like your choice of schools were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Northern Illinois University is located in DeKalb. That is in Illinois. If you don't
Yeah.
know Illinois, Chicago will make it, you know, that's the where Chicago is located. So I think Northern Illinois University is located in a city called DeKalb. In closer to DeKalb, there is a community college there as well. It's a great university. You can also check out. All right.
Mhm.
Any other university?
I applied to Vermont, University of Vermont.
Okay. Okay. University of Vermont. University of Vermont. It's not a very popular state, especially among Africans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Vermont, so UVM, this is the website of University of Vermont. You can add it to your list. So as we are showing them, and I want to show them because sometimes when people Google it, they see different things, and you know
Mm-hmm.
it makes it easier for you to locate the website. And
Yeah.
so you finally settled for Miami University, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what brought you in. If you were
Mm-hmm.
supposed to start your whole process again, now knowing being the study abroad guru you are now, what would
Mm-hmm.
you do differently?
Okay. I think that the first thing would be to believe in myself because
Right.
it was at that time when I wanted to apply, like there were some schools that I didn't want to apply to. Shout out to my friend Christiana. She was one that
Mhm,
was pushing me. She was like, like it's better for you to apply and not get in than for you
mhm.
to not apply at all. Because as at that time, Vermont had just 4 people in their cohort. And I'm like, me, international student from Nigeria, how will I make this 4 cohorts? Miami also had like 8 people in their cohort. I'm like, because of the class size in Nigeria. I'm like, this class size is so small for me to think that we're getting into a cohort of 8. So the first thing would be
Right.
definitely believe in myself, believe in my abilities. And then the second thing is to not waste time with my school search because especially now that a lot of people are talking about like studying abroad, it's just like going into like I already know the course I want to study, just typing it on Google and seeing like schools that can schools that would give me scholarship with the course that I want to study. And then the
Right.
third thing is to stop wasting my time because I feel like when I first started, especially with Cleveland that I mentioned,
Mhm.
I wanted to test that I could get admission into a US university, right? The course that I wanted to do at Cleveland, I necessarily wasn't interested in it. Second thing, Cleveland did not ask me for statement of purpose. They
Oh,
only
okay.
me, they only asked me for my transcripts and asked me for my resume. And I feel like my statement of purpose was like the strongest part of my application because it allowed me explain why I'm switching from English language and education to higher education, right? So that I submitted probably on a Monday. And then by Wednesday, they rejected me. I applied to that school twice. And that kind of like weighed me down. But again, if I'm applying again, there's no point in saying, oh, I just want to get admission, I just want to test my ability when it's not really going to lead into anything because it's not like they were even going to offer me scholarship or anything. I just wanted to test to see that I could get in. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the rest is history. I don't think I would necessarily change much because I feel like my approach was successful, but it's just like just cutting down on like these unnecessary things that I was doing just to prove to myself.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about the scholarships, the visa process, and all that. If you are just tuning in, we've been speaking with Catching Up Ola with Ola. Ola has a YouTube channel which is called Catching Up with Ola. She shares her experience, and you can get a lot of value. She also provides an avenue if you want to get in touch with her. And then Ola, you have a master class coming up. We'll also talk about that as well.
Mhm.
All right. So there are different segments of the program. On the program, we have a segment called the University of the Week. So normally we do University of the Week in the US, University of the Week in the UK, and the University of the Week in Canada. And then we have some application fee waivers that we'll be sharing as well. Remember, if you comment, you share, you like, you automatically join the draw. And at the end of the section, we'll be selecting one person who Ola would assist. Hopefully, we can talk about that to go through the process. So now let's start with Ben presenting to us the University of the Week.
Oh, okay. So Fred, thank you for the privilege. I want to send a warm greetings to all our audience today. UK is fine at the moment. We've not heard good news, bad news, especially where I am. So, our regards to all of you, or we wish one day you can join us in the UK, not only in the US. All right. So today I want to talk about one school I really love. Not because I'm in Derby, but it's one of the schools that if you aim to study in the UK, you can make it one of your options. And the name of that university is Derby University. So one thing that you have to always understand is that the UK is very big. I think it's about 4 nations coming together to form the United Kingdom. And I think this is what most people may not be aware. So if you're applying to the UK schools, you have to know where exactly the school is located. Is it in England? Is it in Wales? Is it in Northern Ireland? Okay, because it's 4 countries that come together to form the United Kingdom. And then the last one is Scotland. So you have to have an idea of the country that falls within the UK, the living condition, and you are good to go. So having said that, let me quickly move to Derby University. And this is the reason why I want to talk about Derby University. Okay, let me. All right. So if you check the screen, you will see that in the UK, in terms of employability and course quality, Derby University is ranked second. Then in the whole UK, it is ranked 10. And then in terms of accommodation, like if you're a student, you want to come to Derby University, you don't have to worry about accommodation, because in terms of accommodation, it is ranked number 1. So according to the Global Student Living Awards, it was ranked number 1 in 2025, 2024, 2023, and 2022. So this university, in terms of student accommodation, it is top notch. And then one important thing about the university is that in the UK, for overall student satisfaction, it is ranked top among top 25. So if you look at top 25, Derby University is part of those universities. Like, this is a survey being conducted by one of the groups in charge of the University Compare or UniCompare. So what happens is that they don't just come out with the figures, they make sure that they involve the entire student in the UK. So whatever figure or whatever statistics you are seeing here, it reflects reality. And then 94% of graduates work or engage in further studies. And this is the latest research from the Higher Education Survey. So one thing that you have to notice that if you graduate from Derby University, it's either you think of, maybe if you came to study your bachelor's, then you may think of either doing your master's or doing finding job. And if you came to study your master's, then when you complete, you now be thinking of PhD or trying to find job. So at least 94% of those who graduate either work or engage in further study. So that is one interesting thing about Derby University. I don't know. My cursor is not working. I want to scroll down, but it's not going. However, one another thing I want you to take note is that they have started research program that it takes 1 year for you to graduate. In UK, most of the research-based courses are 2 years, but every university, it can take you 1 year to complete your master's program. And I think it's one of the advantage that you can consider, or one of the options that you can consider if you want to come and study research-based program. And one interesting thing about the research-based program is that you can come with your dependent. So it means that if you want to come and study research program in Derby University, you can come. If you're a man, you can come with your wife. That is, if you are married, you can come with your wife. And if you're a woman and you are married, you can come with your husband. But one thing that you need to know is that when it comes to the dependent, in UK, they have what is called partner. So if the person is even your partner and legally, like the person is your partner, everyone knows that that's the person you are staying with, you can still come with a person. So that is Derby University for you. It is located in England. It is located in England. I think it's about 4 hours drive from London. So it's one of the best universities that if you want to consider studying in the UK, you can think of Derby University. So this University of the Week from the United Kingdom.
All right, thank you, Ben, for bringing us the University of the Week from the UK. So thank you, Ben, for bringing us the University of the Week from the UK. So we are moving on. Remember that at every point in time, there is always a scholarship to apply for. So let's get you some scholarships that you can target if you're also looking forward to. And a lot of people, their target is not only, sometimes they apply to universities and then now they are looking for scholarships that will fund them. One of the scholarships that are currently accepting applications, which is very comprehensive, they are going to pay for your tuition, they are going to give you accommodation, you have allowances, and then your flight ticket in and out is going to be paid for. Let's talk about the Rotary Peace Fellowship. The Rotary Peace Fellowship, and I'm sharing their website. I will share the link so that you can click on and apply. Let me clearly explain to you. So this is a 100% scholarship to fund Masters in Peace and Development Studies. So it's purely for a specific program. And then according to their website, they award 170 people every year. And so this year they are accepting applications and you can apply. So the deadline is 15th of May. We are already in April. So you have more than a month to submit your application. And application you are submitting is for the subsequent year. So they have specific you can study in, and these universities are University in the US. There is University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which is also in the US. And you can also be admitted into University of Queensland, which is in Australia. And then the University of Bradford, which is in England. And then the International Christian University is located in Japan. And also there is a Swedish university, it's called Uppsala University, is in Sweden. So when you apply for this scholarship, you'll be admitted into a master's degree in peace and development studies, which is either going to be in any of these universities. And then the scholarship is going to cover your tuition and fees. It's going to give you free accommodation. It's also going to cover your flight ticket in and out. And then it will give you experience. It will also cover your health insurance. How do you apply? So the website is what I'm showing, and then the link to the application, I'll share it in the video description. You can read more about that. read about the eligibility requirement, the most important thing is you have a bachelor's degree. You don't necessarily have to have a bachelor's degree in a specific field. Try and read about the requirement, and you can also apply for the scholarship. So with this, you're not applying for the school separately and applying for the scholarship. The scholarship application works with, you choosing which school you would want to be in, but the program is going to be Peace and Development Studies, and is either going to be in the US, Australia, England, Japan, or Sweden. So that's the Rotary, that's about the Rotary Peace Fellowship that you can apply. Application deadline is 15th of May. Now, let's look at one university that you can also apply for free. So every week we share with you some universities you can apply for free. Let's look at this particular one. So it was posted on their Facebook. The reason why we share some of these application fee waivers is so it makes it easier, like Ola applied to a lot of universities. Sometimes it's going to be expensive. If you get some of these application fee waivers, it makes it easier. The school we are looking at today, or the university we are looking at today, is Western Technical College. Western Technical College. If you're watching us on TikTok, type it in the comment section. Western Technical College. So Western Technical College is located in Wisconsin in the USA, and they are waiving the application fee throughout the month of April. Remember, in the month of March, we gave you some of the universities in Georgia that were waiving application fee. In the month of April, the whole month of April, Western Technical College is waiving the application fee. And this was directly posted on their Facebook platform. So that's why we encourage you to follow the social media platforms of these universities, because they share a lot of ideas. They mention a scholarship in there. Check out the programs that you're interested in so that you can apply to Western Technical College for free. We are going back to our interview, and Ben is going to continue with Ola. So Ben, let's take it from there.
Oh, okay. Thank you once again for the opportunity. Ola, I hope everything is fine with you.
Yeah.
I can see from your face you are enjoying US weather.
It's just starting to get so I don't know if to say enjoyment, but yeah, we're about to start enjoying.
Okay, so right from your conversation with Fred, I understood that almost all the universities that you apply to, it's more like almost the same program. So I want to know, how were you able to modify your statement of purpose? Because we've had a lot of instances that people will be asking us, can they use the same statement of purpose for the same program? What modification did you do?
Okay.
If you can share that with us, we'll be grateful. Yeah.
Okay. So the first initial school that I applied to answer your question, then I would explain it. So my modification of statement of purpose, my statement of purpose was changing based on what the school was requiring. But at the end of the day, everything still had a certain elements of the same thing, if that makes sense. So the first school I applied to, aside from that Cleveland that didn't ask me for statement of purpose, the first school I applied in October, and that was Kent State. And for Kent State, I had to submit 2-page statement of purpose. So they will give you a prompt, like, why are you interested in this school? What is like your end goal, things like that. So I submitted 2 pages for Kent State. The next school I applied to after that was Miami, and Miami asked me for 4 pages. So it was similar to what I submitted for Kent State. I just had to like expand more on my ideas just so that I could reach the 4 pages. So my advice to people is always that have a general statement of purpose, and then you can switch it up depending on the schools that you want to apply to. Even if 2 schools are asking you for the same thing in terms of like their page requirements, the way they frame their question is very different. Like with Kent State, I started with a little bit of like analogy. With Miami University, because of the way the question was framed, I started with a little bit of, I've done my research and this is what I have figured out with this course, and this is why I want to do the course. So they help you sometimes with the questions that they ask. And something I say with statement of purpose, you don't have to have a whole big document at a go. Just start writing whatever comes to your mind. I did not finish my statement of purpose in one day, which is most people that I talk to, that is what they want to do. They want to finish their statement of purpose in one day. It's not possible. You need to take your time to sit down and write your statement of purpose. So yeah, basically, same statement of purpose. I was switching it based on the school because I also want to write specifically to the school. Like, oh, for Kent State, maybe there's something that is really like drawing my interest in Kent State. I will change it. I will switch it up to say, this is why I want to come to Kent State. UConn, this is why I want to come to UConn. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for letting us know. So, one thing is that sometimes when you see that the university has opened application, you may think that you are the first person or you are the only one going to apply. But you finish the application and then you realize that about 1,000 people have applied to the same program. So I want to know, how can we stand out in our application?
Okay.
Do you have any tips you can share with us?
Yes. So with the whole standing out thing, something I tell people is don't be faced by the number of people that applied. That's the first thing. And don't be faced by the time that you applied. As long as, so schools will typically say this is the priority deadline if you want to be considered for funding. As long as you apply before that priority deadline, you are good. So instead of you to just submit an application that will not make you stand out, it's better to not just submit an application at all. Instead of wasting your money submitting an application that you know that even if I read this application, I'm not going to give myself admission. And I genuinely think that, especially for non-STEM students, where you don't have any research work that is backing you up, I genuinely feel like your statement of purpose should be strong enough. I know most people think that I finished with a first class. No, I literally finished with a 2-1. But in my statement of purpose, I explained like certain things in my life. And like the way I wrote my statement of purpose, it showed passion for the course that I wanted to study. So I feel like your statement of purpose is how you can explain, okay, this is where I'm moving from point A, because I did English language and education, and I explained why I did not want to continue with English language and education. I explained why I was specifically interested in working with college students. So your statement of purpose is how you can explain this. And then when it also comes to standing out, I don't genuinely think that it is one thing that contributes to the admission process. Like, I mean, student affairs. I've worked with admission before. I think most of us, what we think in Nigeria is that it is one thing that contributes to the admission process, but no, everything contributes. So for instance, they might say your transcript is 5, let's just say 5 mark. The statement of purpose might be 3 mark. So if you are currently in school, this is a time for you to sit up tight and make sure that you're also finishing school well. Not to say that people that have finished and did not finish well cannot get accommodation, but cannot get admission with scholarship. But if you are still in school, you still have that opportunity to rewrite your story. Face your studies, make sure that you are finishing well, because that way you don't even have to do too much of explanation. That just naturally opens the door for you. So finish well. Your transcript is important, your resume is important, your statement of purpose is important. Another thing that I would say is, if a school is requiring you to write exam, I know my time I did not write exam. That's because I applied to school that did not say I should write exam. Do not, for whatever reason, apply to a school that said you should write exam and not write exam. Even though you don't want to write exam, look for schools that would not tell you to write exam. But when a school is telling you exam is part of their requirement, they will not even review your application at all if you do not write exam, because that application is incomplete. So I feel like with all of this, if you like follow everything, and then you're also praying, because sometimes you can do everything right, and it just takes a higher force to help you, with all of these things, and you pray, I believe that success will be yours. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. So Ola is telling us that it's not just about putting the application. After putting the application, said a word of prayer, and she believes things are going to happen for you. That is Ola. Thank you so much. And then I want to hit on one more thing prior to your conversation with Fred. Then we move on to the other stars.
Okay.
You said that you were checking the schools, those that you were able to meet the requirements and those that you couldn't. So I want to know, how long did it take you for you to do your research, and then how long did it take you for you to apply? Or like, now that like probably a school is waiving its application, the possibility that some of us may take advantage is very high. So if you can help us to understand these dynamics, and maybe in future is going to also help us. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I tell people, do not use my method for searching for schools. That was a long time ago. This was 2019. Now we're in 2026. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of resources now that will say this school is offering fully funded scholarship for this. At that time, I did not have any of this. That's why mine took time. So I started my school search in July. After I came back from my exam in July, I started my school search. The first school I applied to was in October. So July, August, September, I applied. The first school I applied to was in October. And even after I applied to that school in October, which was Kent State, and I applied because they were doing their international student application fee waiver. They don't do it anymore, but then they were doing application fee waiver. So I'm like, I need to stop my school search and focus on my resources on making sure that I am fulfilling this application. After I finished applying to Kent State in October, I continued my school search. So that was why I said like my old school search thing was very stressful. But for people, once you're able to identify that, okay, this is a school as application fee waiver at this point, just start prepping yourself from the onset. I feel like the major thing that you really need to like focus on is if you're writing an exam, you need to start thinking about your exam. If you're not going to write the exam, if it is transcript, especially people that are in Nigeria, we all know, if you went to a federal school in Nigeria, I don't know if it has changed, but we all know the order it is for you to get your transcripts. Nobody will review your application if you do not have your transcripts. So if it is transcript, if it is that you need to start writing your statement of purpose, something else that I was doing then is I was writing a general statement of purpose as at the time I was applying for scholarship. So in the afternoon, my school search was usually at night because I did not have money to be buying too much of subscription. But in the afternoon, I could literally open Google Doc on my phone and be writing. In the afternoon, I write. At night, I was doing school search. So that was what really helped me, that I was able to like merge everything together. But again, I feel like people can do application within a month if you put your heart to it. And if you show up every day, even if it's 10 minutes every day, if you show up every day, like don't be intimidated by, oh, last time she started in July, she had like a lot of time. That's because I didn't have a lot of resources. Like I literally had nobody to put me through then. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for letting us know. So I'm trying to be a bit curious here. How determined were you? It seems like you even planned to go to US whilst you were in your junior high school.
I was so determined. Like I feel like, and that's what I tell people, like, see, you need to get to a space where you're like you're done with something. I was so determined. I was like, there's no, because even at that time, there was one guy in the US, is like a STEM student, and I spoke to him. I was like, yeah, I want to study in the US. And he said, what do you want to come study? I said, I want to come study English or education, because then I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I said English or education. And he was like, you're not a STEM student. You cannot get scholarship. You cannot, to get admission self would be hard. You cannot get scholarship. But I was like, no, I have to figure out all these questions in my heart. I have to find the answers to them. So I feel like desperate. I don't want to use the word desperation, but determination is what pushes you to that point where you're like, no, I'm done with this. I just need to move on with another aspect of my life, if that makes sense. And also, I feel like another thing I didn't say is part of the reason I chose the US is because the US offers like more practical insights into my course. Because my course is also in the UK, my course is also in Canada. Why didn't I go to all of these places? But because the US preferences practical aspect of my course. Like as I'm teaching, also as I'm learning in theory, I'm also able to utilize it with my graduate assistantship. Like how people just get graduate assistantship and then they teach. With my course, I was able to, the same work I was doing when I was a graduate assistant is the same work that I'm doing now. I'm just doing it in a full-time level. So I was prepared ahead for like life after school. So that's why I chose the US, because it's like very practical heavy for my course. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much. So looking at the whole process, how will you rate the application process? Was it something cool for you? Or it stressed you small?
It's stressful a little bit. But at that time, I didn't even genuinely see it as stress. I feel like every time I would knock out application, then I was always genuinely happy. I feel like the stressful part is now that all the application is done, the silence. I feel like that was the stressful part for me, like having to wake up every morning, checking my email, I mean, I finished my last application in like December of 2019, but I knew that they were not gonna get back to me until like February, because that is literally when they do interviews. So like just using all of that January, just that silence, I would say, was like the most difficult part for me. Like, oh, there's no application again. There's nothing to really keep my mind busy other than just praying and like checking the status of my application. But I mean, at the end of the day, everything yielded out a good and a positive thing. And that's what I tell people. If you're able to apply on time, we have that little bit of like break to focus on other things. If you're able to finish your school application at once, you have that little break to focus on other things before you get your decision.
I like the fact that you mentioned I like the fact that you mentioned that you spoke with somebody who said you will not be able to get scholarship in the field you are looking at. And this goes to everyone listening. You know, sometimes you talk to some individuals because your journey or your experience, what you studied is different from what they study. They might not have ideas on how you go about yours. So somebody is into STEM, maybe engineering, stuff like that. The process involved in working on those applications sometimes a little bit. So if you say I have a political science background, the person may not necessarily understand or have ideas on how to go about, and that's why Ola and the Fred effect are there. And this goes to our brothers and sisters. If you study abroad, it doesn't mean you know about studying abroad. There are some people who have decided to dedicate their time and life to study this process, right? And be able to guide people. So if somebody comes to you and you feel like you're too busy or the person's qualification is not the same way as yours, tell them, go and talk to Ola. You know, go and check Ola's YouTube channel. Go and check the Fred Effect YouTube channel. Refer people to where you are not good at. It's as simple as that. And if you are someone who wants to study abroad, you speak with a friend, a brother, they can only share with you the processes that they use. Sometimes people even forget it. And so not everybody who is studying abroad knows about studying abroad. So refer people who have dedicated their time and life to do this, right? It makes it easier. All right. We are still talking
into what you said, because like when I got to Miami, people were asking me, so what exam did you write? I said I did not write any exam. A majority of them were looking at me like it was strange. They were like, okay, even if you didn't write GRE, you didn't write test of English proficiency. I said no. They were like, why? I said because they waived this exam for Nigerians, and I had to show them. And these people were already in the US, probably 3 years in the US. And they were like, they never knew, like when they want to study abroad, the first thing people tell them is go and write exam first before you start applying. I'm like, no, I'm not going to write any exam. So I looked at it to make sure that it was being waived for Nigerians before I even put my feet into it, so.
And there are some family members, probably they came through to the US on a different category of visa. They have no idea how the student process works. When other family members talk to them, and then they are like, it doesn't work that way. Some people, they pay school fees for their kids here. So they don't understand why, as somebody coming from Nigeria, coming from Ghana, an international student, universities here will pay your school fees. They don't get it. Right? How am I paying for my kids, and my niece is telling me that she can get scholarship to come? Because the scholarship process for international students is very different from when you're a citizen, right? So basically that's it. We are still speaking with Ola. If you've not subscribed to Ola's YouTube channel, you have to do that. And remember, the Fred Effect team has a collaboration with Argo Visa. Argo Visa is a team of ex-visa officers. Listen, if you are preparing for a visa interview, you need to talk to Argo Visa. So they were ex-visa officers. They used to work at the embassy, and so they were interviewing people, approving, denying visas. This time around, they are retired, and what they are using their time for is to guide you and prepare you for your visa interview. They are able to think through what questions the visa officer is going to ask, and also if you've been denied, especially, they're able to help you refine your answers, refine your DS-160 before you go for the next visa interview. So speak with an ex-visa officer before your next visa interview. Use the link I'm sharing on the screen. I'm trying to look for that. Use this link, type it in your web browser. It's rb.gy/72vb, and then you can schedule a one-on-one session with an ex-visa officer, which is the Argo Visa team. Remember, the Fred Effect team has a WhatsApp platform where we for close to 10 years now, we've been assisting people to prepare for the visa interview. How do you join? Send us a direct message on Instagram, and then we'll add you to the WhatsApp group to help you prepare for your visa interview as well. When it comes to the application process, you have to pay visa application fee. Sometimes your school require enrollment deposit. If you're in Ghana or anywhere around the world, sometimes the means of payment, the credit card, the debit card, or maybe the PayPal that the school requires, you don't have it. The Fred Effect team can facilitate this payment for you. All you need to do is to send us an Instagram message, and then we'll help you. We will facilitate this payment for you successfully. So especially if you want to pay your service fee and you're in Ghana, remember the service fee cannot be paid if you're in Ghana. So you need to generate a service coupon, find somebody in the US to pay for you. Unfortunately, if you do not know anybody in the US, then it becomes a challenge. The Fred Effect team can assist you with that payment. All you need to do is to send us your coupon. If you don't know how to generate it, it's not a problem. Just message us on Instagram. Tell us you need help making or paying your service fee, and we'll be happy to assist you make those payments. So we are trying to make the process at every point in time easier for you as well. All right. So there is one scholarship that I want to quickly share with you before we continue with the conversation with Ola. This is a joint Japan and then World Bank graduate scholarship program. Joint Japan Joint Japan World Bank graduate scholarship program. So it's the Japan government and World Bank coming together for to give you the scholarship to study in a lot of universities for free. The universities include Australian National University, which is located in Australia. Columbia University is located in the US. Erasmus University. There's also the Delft Institute of Water Education, the Cairo University, which is in Japan, and then London School of Economics, obviously in the UK. National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies, Saitama University, and then the University of London, and then Stanford University, the Claremont University as well, the University of Leeds in the UK, University of Oxford in the UK, University of Tokyo in Japan, and then Yokohama National University. There are some specific programs. Remember, this program is into 2 tiers, 2 windows. The first window is closed, but the second window is open. And that's how this scholarship works. Remember, this scholarship will pay for your tuition. It will cover everything, accommodation, flight ticket, and everything. Now, you need to, first of all, gain admission into any of these programs. So there's a Master of Climate Change program in the Australian National University. There's a Master of Environmental and Resource Economics in Australian University. There's a Master of Environmental Management and Development in the same university. And there's a Master of Public Policy. I did public administration, so public policy, great program. There's also Master of Public Administration. So each university, you need to first of all apply to the school, get admission. When you finish, then you use your admission letter to come and apply for the Joint Japan World Bank Graduate Scholarship Program. So the application is open from now, March to May 29th. So what it means is that you can find out about the program you want to apply to in Australian University, for example. Apply to the Master of Climate Change, the Master of Environmental and Resource Economics, the Master of Environmental Management and Development, or the Master of Public Policy program. After you get the admission letter, there will be no scholarship. Then you come and apply for this scholarship program that will take care of everything. And there are a lot of universities, there are a lot of countries. It's not there's US, there's UK, there's Japan, Australia. There's a lot of, so you have to find out the specific program, apply for that program, get admission, then you apply for the Joint Japan World Bank Graduate Scholarship Program, which the first window is closed. So the first window was last month. Now the second window is from March 30th to May 29th. So you have like 2 months, more than 2 months to apply to the school, and now come and apply for the scholarship as well. All right, so we're moving on. But let's continue with the interview with Ola when she's ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Okay. So, you know, when we did your poster, the headline was very catchy, 6 scholarships. Have we talked about it already?
The way it is for my program is that you submit your application, and then the program coordinator will reach out to you, and they will like schedule an interview with you to kind of like hear like, oh, do you have passion for this course, things like that. And then once they have that conversation with you, they let you know if you are going to be moving forward with the application process. So as at that time, some schools were not even gonna, I know some schools that would not admit you if you did not have scholarship. Because again, I know Kent then, but I think the process has changed now. But then Kent will not admit you if you do not have scholarship. And I think part of it is exactly with the practical thing that I said, like they need you to be able to like apply your theory in class. The theory that you're learning in class, they need you to be able to apply it straight out so that you learn, right? So I mean, after my last application was like in December. In January, some of them started reaching out to me. I did like interview with faculty, which was Zoom, because I told them like, oh, I'm in Nigeria, I'm not in the US. And then we did like a Zoom interview. And then February was majorly when I had like assistantship interview. Like I was just moving from one school to another. Like sometimes I even had like 2 school interview in one day. And it was February was like a total mess because it was just like from one interview, jumping from one interview to the other. But at the end of the day, it was successful. And I think part of what I think that they noticed is like the passion in which I was talking, because even though I didn't really like understand the educational system in the US at that time, I did my own research. I understood what each of these assistantship offices were requiring from me. I might not understand it in depth because, again, the only type of educational system that I'm used to is Nigeria. And that's what I tell people, like, they don't need you to understand it in depth. That is when you come here, you understand things more. The only thing that they need is you've done your research, you have a willingness to learn, and then you have transferable skills. I don't have experience working in a US educational system. I only used my transferable skills. Then I was working as a customer service personnel. I talked about like my customer service skills. I was also managing my business. I had a registered business in Nigeria that I was managing. I talk about what the management looked like for me. And I felt like, oh, they saw like, oh, this person is teachable. This person has a lot of transferable skills. Let's give this person a chance. So that's what gave me like most of my scholarship. And yeah, and everything right now is history.
Wow, 6 full funded scholarship. How was the feeling?
I mean, the first one, which was the first kid that admitted me? I think it was in Miami or Oklahoma. I can't even remember. It's been a long time right now. The first one, it was Miami. So like when Miami's admission came, they were like, oh, right now we've not been able to match you with an assistantship. I was like, I was so sad. But then I had said a prayer. I was like, God, you started this thing and I know that you will complete it. And then by the second day, she sent me a message and she was like, yeah, we were able to match you with this assistantship. Of course, I was very happy. But when the second one came, I was still happy. But by the time the third one, fourth one, fifth one, you're like, at the end of the day, you still have to choose one, So I was like, I wish I could share this with every of my friends. Like, oh yeah, take one, take one. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to choose one of the schools. You cannot go to all of the schools at the same time. So I just had to like make an informed decision with God on my side. Like, okay, which exact one should I go for? I mean, it was very nice, and I think it just like told me, like, it showed me something. Like, if I put my mind to something, I can achieve it. Because as at the time I started, I just knew that I wanted to leave the country. I didn't know like what avenue. I didn't even like, I was just doing something. I was just like try and error. If it works out, fine. But I just know that I had like this strong willpower and determination that whatever it is that I've started, I will see through it to the end. So yeah.
Wow. Anything you put your mind to works and that will work for you perfectly. That's a nice one. Sometimes when you sit on the laptop, it feels like the scholarship have been exhausted. Do you think there is still hope for us when it comes to scholarship? Because sometimes, people reach out to us as it's like they've applied and applied and applied and they are not getting the scholarship. What should we do so we can also get at least 3 or 6 scholarships and we can also make informed decisions as you did?
I would say when people reach out to me like that as well, when they say, well, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I ask them to rethink the admission process. Because the thing is, if you keep submitting the same thing over and over again and it's not yielding you results, there's something wrong somewhere. If it's that, oh, maybe your degree, like, okay, let me give an example of like someone that applied, the person, so on the application thing, they wrote it that you need GRE if your GPA is not up to 3.0. And when I read that, the person was like, "Oh, I applied in 20 this, I applied in 20 this." They were not giving me admission. I said, "Okay, let me ask you some questions. What did you finish school with?" He said 2.2. I said 2.2 doesn't mean that you cannot have up to 3.0 on a scale of 4.0. What particular GPA did you finish school with? I said, "You know what? Convert your transcripts unofficially. Let me know what we are working with." When he converted it, it was 2.8. And I said, "Let me see an example of a school you're applying to." He showed me the school. I said, "These people clearly wrote it there. If you don't have up to a 3.0 GPA, they need a GRE to show that you are prepared for grad school." I said, "You see, this is the exact reason why you've not been getting the admission. You do not meet up to their GPA requirements. If you know you now, there are some schools that will ask you for 2.5. Those are the schools you should be targeting if you know you don't want to write the exam." So I feel like, and that's what I tell people, the fact that somebody comes here and says, "Oh, I got admission," this does not mean that that is the general thing that will work for everybody. Do your own individual research. "I got admission at Miami" does not mean you should not do your own research to ask, how did she get the admission? Again, when I was applying, I looked at requirements. You need to be, as much as these people are looking for you, you need to also ask them, "Did you have my own requirement?" My own requirements is, I didn't want, as at the time I was applying, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't want to involve my parent. In fact, I didn't involve my parent until like the last final straw. I didn't want to do application. I didn't want to do official transcript, because for official transcript to mean that we have to be sending official transcript with money to all the schools that I wanted to apply to. So those were my requirements. I wasn't going to write the exam. I wasn't going to submit official transcript. That is my own requirement. And then I look at their requirements. Do I meet your requirement? Do you meet my requirements? And that was how I was able to apply to the school. So we think
Wow.
the process is what.
No, I like what you're saying. So normally people say that. I keep on saying that when you go for humanizing, and you don't get a woman, it means you didn't look for the one your size,
Mhm.
right? So universities obviously have the things they want you to get, and so if you don't meet that standard, there's other universities that are looking for what you have. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, Ben, let's continue.
Yeah. I think today you are really educating us, and I'm sure our friends from Nigeria who have tried and they are not getting, may learn from the tips you are giving us.
Mhm.
So have your plan, then you have to make sure that you then align your plan to the plan of the university. Is that not it?
Yeah, that is it.
Oh, okay.
Because there
I
was
think
this.
it's a nice strategy.
Yeah, there was this school in Michigan that I wanted to apply to. I really liked that school. But when I looked at their what they were requiring, they said 3.5 on a scale of 4.0. As much as I like that school, I said, I don't have up to 3.5 on a scale of 4.0. Let me carry my money and go elsewhere. So I went elsewhere. I did not bother applying to this school, even though I like the school, but I did not meet their GPA requirements. So
Okay, interesting. I love that. So now with 6 fully funded scholars. Okay, can you talk something small about your school? You know, some of the scholarship, like let's say it's only graduate assistantship and it covers only your fees. Some of them too, it comes with accommodation and other stuff. So how was yours like?
So the assistantship I got was like graduate assistantship, but I was working with the Office of Residence Life, which meant that like they covered my accommodation, they covered my feeding expenses. So as at the time I went for the visa, you know, like how people, even though they are fully funded scholarship, by the time they had living expenses, people still end up having deficits. But by the time I went for my visa, I didn't even have to go with any bank statement, because my scholarship money was much more than, by the time they calculated living expenses and everything, the money I got in my scholarship was much more than the money that they calculated for me. So I didn't need to go to the embassy with like any statement of purpose. So that's what I tell people. The fact that you got fully funded scholarship does not mean that you not have deficits, because when a school is calculating cost of living for you, they might calculate cost of living as 1,200 per month, when you are not, except if you are a child of a governor. Why are you spending 1,200 per month? Even me that I'm working now, what am I using? When I remove rent, of course, like aside from rent, why am I spending 1,200 on feeding every month? So they want to exaggerate it, because they want to make sure that you're coming to the US and you're not stranded. So that is why sometimes people have fully funded scholarship, but they still have like little deficits to show at the embassy that, okay, this is how I would be able to cover my other expenses. But to answer your question, my scholarship covered my accommodation and it covered like my living expenses. So
All right, we'll take some comments. People are joining us live. They want to ask Ola questions, and we'll also be responding to your comments in the comment box. So please keep them coming. Remember, if you share, if you like, if you type a comment, you automatically join the draw. At the end of the session, we'll select one person who the team is going to assist. So let's take some questions in the comments for Ola. So this one is coming for this one is Brakwek, who said very impressive. Ola is a genius. So Rema is asking. You said you spoke about Cleveland State University, and Rema is asking that did she try doing evaluation?
No, I did not do evaluation of my transcript. The only thing I did was the unofficial evaluation, and even with unofficial, you can't use it to apply to school. I only did that because I wanted to just give myself the confidence boost that I had a 4.0, because in Nigeria, I don't know if this person that asked the question is Nigeria, we use a 5.0 scale. So that is very different from the US system that uses 4.0. And I think in Ghana, you people use 4.0, right?
Yeah.
So you people are kind of like on the same university. So you people are kind of like on the same route with the US, but we use a 5.0. Right. So I had to just do the unofficial, it's called WES unofficial evaluation. You don't pay for it, it's free. So that's the only thing I did. I did not evaluate my transcripts at all. So most of the schools that I applied to said they were going to evaluate the transcripts by themselves, which is eventually what I did.
Okay. Teria is asking, Teria Anastasia, hopefully I got the name right, is watching us on YouTube. Shout out to you, Teria. Is that is it too late to apply for fall 2026 for undergraduate? What do you think, Ola?
What month are we? We are in April, and fall starts in August. So something I say is I would never say never. That's something I would never say never. You can look for schools, try and look for schools. But I would say, is it late? Yes. But is it too late? I would never say never. So you can look for schools. I'm definitely sure there will still be something out there that would even still give you scholarship. So you can look for schools. There are still some schools that admit students I know there was someone that came to Miami at that time that she got admitted in January, and she came in January. So never say never is what I would say. But it's late, but it might not be too late. That's what I would say. Just processes that we've spoken about today. For undergraduate admission, yours is even easier. I'm not gonna lie. Undergraduate admission is easier because sometimes some schools don't even ask you for statement of purpose. Just apply, and if they want to consider you, they will consider you. So.
All right. So we have somebody in the studio who wants to talk to Ola. Akwasi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question for Ola?
Okay. I'll be going for my interview, F1 interview on 24th April. And I have no idea about the interview. I just came across, my brother sent me your link, and I just came across your videos that you were even on live today, and I joined.
Great. So, Ola, for somebody preparing for the visa interview, how many times did you go for your interview, Ola? We didn't go to that question.
I went just once.
Okay. So, for somebody who has no idea how this interview is, you've been through the process, you've been coaching people for years. Talk to our brother. What should he do?
So, when you say you don't have an idea of how the interview is, were you the one that applied for your admission yourself?
No, please. It's my brother who did it for me.
So the thing is, you need to get the information. Is it master's or undergrad?
Bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree, so that's undergrad. So you need to understand everything that your brother did to get you from point A to point B, because that is the mistake most people make. This is not the UK where you just submit your documents. This is whether somebody helped you with the admission or they did not help you with the admission. You need to be able to understand, because sometimes the thing that trip people off is one question that they ask them and then they're unable to answer. And the visa officer is like, and this is the person that wants to go to school. You don't even understand one part of the application process. There was one question that one of the visa officer asked me. I felt like that question was very new. It was like, how did you get your scholarship? And in my mind, I'm like, is visa interview that I came to do here? Why are you asking me how I got my scholarship? I was like, yeah, they saw that I was a good student. It was like, yeah, I know you're a good student, but what did you do to get your scholarship? So imagine that somebody was the one that applied for me, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh, well, do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to ask your brother, what they did to get you from point A to point B. That's one. Number two, confidence. You need to build your confidence. Visa interview, I tell people to look at visa interview as you're having, the way you are with us on the video call. that is it's very stressful. I'm not gonna lie, it's very nerve-wracking. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you like you will not be scared and pretend to you like it's not nerve-wracking. But just have this mindset that the people I'm going to talk to are also people. They are people, and I can just have a conversation with them. But typically the questions that they ask is like, why did you choose this university? Whatever university it is that you're going to, what are your long-term goals? What are your post-graduation plan? Meaning that when you are done with your degree, what do you want to do after your degree? Do you want to go back to Ghana, which should be what you're putting in your response? You want to go back to Ghana and do this and do that? Like, tie your course, whatever course it is that you want to study, tie it to one thing that you can do in Ghana that can improve Ghana. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what other questions do they ask? They might ask like, oh, who's sponsoring your education? What job are they doing? Please, whoever is sponsoring your education, know their job and know the salary that they are earning. Some people, that is the reason why they don't get their visa. When they ask you what is the salary, you cannot tell me that this person is sponsoring your education and you don't know, you don't even have a range of how much they are earning in salary. Know what they are earning in salary. They can ask you like, why did you choose this particular course? What have you been doing if you just left high school? Or maybe you've left high school for a long time. What have you been doing since you left high school? So those questions, you can also go online, type F1 interview questions. That way it helps you prepare ahead. And I think the Fred Effect said he has like something for people that are preparing for visa interview with you can also book a personal consultation with them, because right now I'm worried about you. If your interview is on the 24th and this is 4th of April, you have 20 more days and you don't know what's going to happen in that interview. I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about you. So you might need professional help. Okay.
All right, great. So we have a mock interview platform. You send us a message on Instagram. We are going to add you to it. We wish you all the best, my brother. All right, thank you so much, Ola. A lot of people have questions for you. Remember, you can join us live in the studio. I'm sharing the link on the various social media platforms and also in the comment section. Click on that if you have questions for Ola. Ola is a guru in the study abroad space. So getting 6 full scholarships is not easy. It's not easy to come by. She knows the process. So let's pick some other questions for Ola. This person is shout outs to Henry, is watching us on Facebook. And then this person is saying Ola is very confident and very intelligent. Did you have to do interviews for all the 6 scholarships?
Yes, I did interview. In fact, I did more than 6 interviews. I did interview for different offices, and then they all come together to say, oh, we want this person, we want this person. And then at the end of the day, so after my interview, they tell me to rank. Like for instance, with Kent, I think I did about 10 interviews for just one school, because Kent had like a lot of offices that were recruiting for graduate assistants. So I think I did about 10 interviews. So after the interviews, they told me to like rank the offices that I wanted to work with. So I ranked office, and then at the end of the day, they were able to match me to one of them that gave me the job. So yes, I did an interview for all of the schools that I applied to, and that's because of my course. It's not all the schools that would ask you to do interview. It's not every course that would ask you to do interview. When I was at Miami University, I had friends, I did interview with them on my channel that did chemistry. The only thing they just do is apply for admission. By the time that admission is coming, that admission is coming with scholarship. So it depends on what course you are doing. But because my own course, again, is a practical course, they need to do interview to make sure that, because it's working with students, they need to do interview to make sure that, okay, this person can do this job for us. So
all right, that tied into this question that Kwabena Pablo, watching us on Facebook, is asking. He said that, please, I've done assistantship interviews and then on 27th of February, but I have not heard from them. Is there anything I can do, or I should wait some more? Even though I was contacted to submit my preferences based on the areas I interviewed. Ola, you've been through this. What should he do?
So since 27th of February, you should contact them and ask them for feedback. Let them know like, oh, I've been waiting. So the reason why sometimes they don't contact you, this might be a hard or painful truth, but the truth is that they've already reached out to their first candidates. This is
okay.
The way you said it's based on area of preference, I'm going to assume that you also apply for student affairs.
Yeah.
So they've already reached out to their first people that they want to give this graduate assistantship to, and they give them till April 15th to respond. So by April 15th, some people will drop it and say, no, you know how I got admission, I got 6, and I had to choose Miami. I had to reject the other 5. When I reject it, they have to contact some other people from their pool. So part of the reason why they might not be getting to you is that they don't want to tell you straight up that they've rejected you, or maybe that you did not get through with it. But something you can do is ask. When you ask, they let you understand that, okay, you're on the wait list, just so that you're able to channel your energy into something else. Some schools will even tell you you're number one on the wait list, which when my Miami admission came and they said they've not matched me with any assistantship, the graduate coordinator made me understand that you're number one on the wait list. So if anybody drops, we'll definitely be the first person that will contact. So you can just send a reminder email to them like, oh, I did this interview since the 27th of February. I just want to know where I am in the process. Okay. And if you need further additional help, you can contact me on my email. My email is usually in the description box of my YouTube channel.
Okay, it means that if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel or you are just joining us, you have no idea about the YouTube channel that Ola is talking about. This is the channel. It's called Catching Up with Ola. So go to YouTube, search for Catching Up with Ola. Ola, do you have other social media platforms that people should know of?
Yeah, I am on Telegram. Everything is on my YouTube channel. Once you click on those links, you see I'm on Telegram, I'm on Instagram, I am on TikTok.
All the gram.
I'm on all the gram. I'm on Facebook. And if you want to follow me personally, right now I'm not on Instagram because I deactivated my account. But yeah.
All right. Ben, check out the next comments that you want Ola to respond to. But we are bringing our brother in. His name is Lord Konedu. He has a question for Ola. Lord Konedu, you seem to have a bit of noise at your background. I don't know if it's your fan or something like that. Please, if it's your fan, then you need to put it off a little bit because the sound is too much. So Lord Konedu will ask his question and then we'll go back to the comments and be responding to comments from people. I think, Ola, probably we need to do a part 2 of this because we know into your interview. So intelligent, you have a lot of and all that. All right, let's talk to Lord Konedu. Lord Konedu, Igwe.
Good evening, boss. So
Yes, sir.
my question is about the WES evaluation. Like I submitted an application around February 22nd, and my university said like they sent my documents to them, but up to now they have.
You're muted.
So did you hear the first part? Or I should
You sent your application to the university, and that was where you cut off.
No. I'm talking about WES.
Okay.
Yeah, so I sent it to them around February 22nd, and my university sent my documents to them, my transcript to them on 5th March. But up to now, they haven't processed my document. Like I've actually DM WES, but still not like they haven't.
Okay. So
show me.
First of all, WES recently made a modification to their website. And so a lot of people are having challenges with that. The second thing is that normally they will give you updates on everything. And so if your university sends their documents to them and then they receive it, they are going to give you an update that they've received it. So you need to cross-check to find out if indeed, which university did you graduate from, bro?
University of Ghana.
Okay, it should be easier. So because WES has connections with the University of Ghana, and so it should be easier. So what you can do is to check your dashboard, right? And then there is also this is an unconventional way. There's the CEO of WES or something. She's on Instagram. No, she's on LinkedIn. Normally, if you DM her with your confirmation number and everything, she can sort things out for you, right? So if indeed University of Ghana has sent it, you should have received a notification that they've received your document. If you've not gotten that notification, you might want to check out with University of Ghana or go through the LinkedIn path I'm saying. But recently, WES has made changes to their website, so people are having challenges with that and all that. Now, listen, the WES evaluation should not delay your application. So it shouldn't be the case that I am waiting for WES to get my transcript evaluated before I start my application. Even if the transcript is done, like the evaluation is done today, the schools you're applying to that require evaluation will not give you an opportunity to upload your transcript. Rather, when you finish, you have to pay WES to send the documents to them, So you can still start your application process, whatever, and leave time for West to do their thing. Whenever they are ready, then you can tell them to send it to your school, bro. Any other questions, Lord Kunedu Kweku?
Okay. I'll try the LinkedIn one. I'll try and DM the CEOs.
Don't get frustrated. This process, it needs time and all that. I like your name though, Lord Kunedu Kweku.
Yeah, thank you.
You be some Igwe for some place or something.
Oh, no. That's fine.
All right, Ben. Do you have the next question that Ola have to respond to in the comments? Your microphone is muted.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fred. Yeah, kindly check the screen for me. I can't see the comments. The comments.
No problem. So I can quickly do that. Ola, somebody was asking that, you spoke about when people have deficit and all that. So they have the Fuji, and then okay, let's respond to this one. Then we'll come to that. But Zachariah said I gained admission to UMSL. I don't know what that school is, but if you can get us the full meaning. And I was awarded partial scholarship. I emailed the department, but they do not have GA positions available. What else do you think I should do?
Look outside departments. You necessarily do not just need to get assistantship with your department alone. When I was at my, I had people that came for computer science and they were working with Austin. And Austin would cover the entirety of your tuition, give you accommodation, give you funding. So if your department doesn't have scholarship, there's on schools' websites. If you go to a school's website and you navigate to the search button, put graduate assistantship, you'll see a lot of people that will be saying, as long as it's not research, because if it's a research that is not related to your field, you might not be able to get in. But all these administrative assistantship or even some courses that you can teach, you should be able to look outside your department for scholarship. Or something else you can also do is there are also other common scholarship that you can try and see if you can get some common scholarship. But basically that's the only thing you can do, or you look into other schools, But yeah, that's the only. I don't know if Fred has any addition to add to that.
Yeah, exactly. When I was doing my public administration program at University of Kentucky, my scholarship did not come from my department. I was working with a different department, transportation department. They were paying my fees and stipends and everything. Okay, so there's somebody who was asking about when the person has a full scholarship at GA and there is still a deficit. So how, when they get to the US, how are they going to survive?
Okay, so it depends on the number of deficits. If the tuition is fully paid for, that thing scares people, but I'm just being honest with you right now. If your tuition is fully paid for and your graduate assistantship will be paying your stipend would cover you. Except if you are oh, I have arrived in the US, so everybody needs to see me. Where's the latest iPhone? I want to start using the latest iPhone. Where's the latest car? All of these things can come later. If your school, again, when I was talking about deficit, I said they exaggerate it because they want to make sure that you can afford your fees when you're in the US. A school can tell you, aside from, they will calculate accommodation, they will still tell you living expenses. They can calculate 1,000 or 1,200 for you for living expenses. Nobody will spend 1,000, 1,200 as an what are you eating? As an international student that you're eating 1,200. So you should be fine if your graduate assistantship is offering you stipend.
Right. So Natidazi, watch Natidazi 627 watching us on YouTube. I see your question. If you can send us a direct message on Instagram, we see how best we can help. Shout out to Jack Wiskid. It's been a long time, Jack Wiskid. Where have you been? So you're watching us on Facebook. Shout outs to you as well. And Rima Joy has been consistent on the platform. Shout outs to you as well. Jacob Ali Jacob. Shout outs to you watching us on Facebook as well. And then Theophilus Adioko, hopefully I got the name right. Shout outs to you watching us on Facebook as well. All right, let's see. There's somebody who's asking, I want to know why schools in the States and Canada do not give scholarship to students.
Hey, who is this person? What have we been talking about since morning? Which states? Is it the US? What have we been talking about since morning? They give scholarship. Of course, things are changing now, but trust me, people are still getting scholarship. You might just need to search in depthly. There was this student, again, I work with the university. There was this guy that I worked with. Is from what country? He's from Nepal, right?
Right.
And he's graduating. So he was talking to me about like how he wants to get a master's degree in, is it public, whatever, political, whatever. And I was telling him, the fact that I'm your supervisor, you are not paying for graduate education. When I first told him, he was like, how is that possible? I said, how is it not possible? I came here, I did not have to pay because, I mean, his parents are wealthy, so they paid for his undergrad. I'm like, you're not going to pay. So most of our one-on-one, it was like sitting down with him, helping him understand, like, okay, this is how you move from point A to point B. So he left because he had like a semester away, and he sent me a message like last month. It was like, thank you so much for your help. I got admission into one school like that in Philadelphia, and it was fully right. It was like, if you did not tell me at that point that I didn't have to pay for admission, I would have still gone ahead to disturb my parents. So the point is that most people don't know, but there's always something. There's something out there. It might not be a lot again right now because of like the atmosphere, but there's still something out there. There's still a lot of schools that will still want you, that will still give you scholarship. Canada, as much as people say they don't give scholarship in Canada, my friends that are in Canada went on scholarship. So
yeah, and we've brought a lot of people on the podcast who are on a scholarship as well. I think we have to do part 2 of this, Ola. Let's talk to Emmanuel. Let's see, Emmanuel Mauli. Emmanuel Mauli, how you doing?
By God's grace, please, what about you guys as well?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Talk to Ola.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Madam Ola, thanks so much for your time and your response to our brothers. We really appreciate that. My question is, I have an interview in May. That is going to be 28th of May. What are the assistance do you have for me whilst I'm preparing? Whilst I was listening to one question you asked our colleagues who just went, you asked of who did the application or who did the application for him, and then he said someone did it for him. But I did my own application since from last 2 years, and I could not have an interview date. That was last year, all because of how things went. But I never hesitated because I was always following Fred and always listening to his encouragement and all that. So whatever I've been doing since then up till today, I've joined you, is I've been following him because he's always telling us not to be discouraged. We should continue. By God's grace, I'm waiting till 28th of May this year for my interview. Please, what advice do you please have for me, please? Thank you so much for that.
All right, first of all the best with your interview coming soon. But I think my advice for you is you kind of already have this mindset that you don't want to give up. So just continually hold on to that mindset. And there are ways, you have like questions that visa officers ask, right? Do you have like questions that you are using to prep yourself for mock interview?
I have been following Freddy Fred, and he has been giving a lot of advices concerning that, questions that are likely to be asked and how to answer them and all that. So that I've been following them. But every blessed moment, I go back to his videos and monitoring how the advice he has been giving towards those questions, how they are supposed to be answered. But that is what I've been doing till today. I'm pleased speaking to you.
Okay. So something I would say is, first of all, have this mindset that visa interviewers are not wicked people. It's what you give them. And I tell people it's better for you to over-explain than under-explain. It's just like sometimes we do interview for college students. I know, like I've worked with this person before. I know that this person can do this job. But when they come to interview, they are not talking about all the good things that they have done. And because of that, it's the interview that we are looking at. I'm not looking at the fact that, I know this person. I'm not the only one on the interview panel. There are other countless of people on the interview panel. So as much as I'm like, this person is good, what did you say during the interview? You cannot assume that they know anything. Even though you submitted a file, you've submitted your DS-160. Any question they ask you, know the best way to respond. in such a concise way that you are also like covering all the points. Do you get what I'm saying? No, for instance, there was one girl that went for visa interview. They asked her, do you think, when will you be returning to Nigeria? She said, I think. I'm like, no, that does not show clarity. What is I think I'll be returning to Nigeria? I will be returning to Nigeria. And she got rejected. Because why are you saying you think you'll be returning to Nigeria? It doesn't show clarity. Now she was like, oh, I didn't want to say that. It just slipped out of my mouth. So just make sure that you are doing your mock interview. Have you joined TFE's mock interview channel or whatever? Have you
Not
been
yet,
able to do
please.
that? So you should be a
Not
part
yet,
of that.
please.
Now you should have been doing your mock interview so that you have enough and ample time to prepare. This is April. You might feel like, oh, May is still far, but trust me, let me tell you fun thing. When I got my admission, I had to defer to 2021, and because of COVID, there was a lot of backlog. So at that point, we did not get visa dates. But you know what I was doing? I was still preparing. I was attending mock. Anybody that called me like this, what can I do to help you? I'll say, do mock for me, oh. Everybody in the US, what can I do? How can I assist you? Don't give me money, do mock for me. I had not yet gotten interview dates. And by the time I got the interview date, I think I got my interview date a week into the interview. So I was already prepared. I got the date, I was able to pick it. So the fact that it's still May does not mean that you cannot be preparing now. If it's just like 10 minutes out of your day that you want to take, okay, I'm going to stand in front of the mirror. I'll look at myself and I will answer these questions, okay? And I wish you all the best.
Okay, so let's move on to the second part. We've done almost like 2 hours. Ola, do you still have some energy in you? Are you willing to go?
Once it's like 2 hours gap here, I think I would have to
Yeah.
leave because I have things to do.
So let's talk about your
another part if you want me to come back.
Let's talk about your visa interview and also what questions you were asked, how did you respond to them, and then we can wrap it up.
Okay. So I don't know how to talk about my visa interview without bringing God into the picture. Because I feel like with my visa interview, I feel like it was just mainly and purely God.
Right.
So prior to the interview, I had been like receiving some things, like dreaming things and like seeing the interview thing. So like that day I went to the interview was in Lagos, Nigeria. Most people say, oh, it's very hard to get interview to get visa in Lagos, but I didn't even want to go to Abuja because Abuja is like very far from my house. So Lagos is like the one in close proximity. So I went there that day. And in Lagos, I don't know how it is in Ghana, but in Lagos, Abuja is better. I heard that they treat them better in Abuja, but in Lagos, you are standing. So what everybody is saying, you're able to hear them. How they are rejecting people, you're able to hear them. So there's already a lot of tension in the atmosphere. So like I was just on that line, I was like very tense because we were just moving. They'll be moving. So when we got to the front, there was this elderly man that was giving people the chance to talk. Like even the people who were rejected, everybody knew that this person deserved to be rejected. But this man was just giving people. So in my mind, I was on the queue. I was like, oh my God, I want to get interviewed by this man. At least it will give me the chance to say what is in my mind, And then by the time they were doing it, they gave me like one other guy. It wasn't that man. The man was beside. I was like, but I'm like, oh God, whoever will give me my interview today, whoever will give me my visa today is who I want to interview with. So when I get to his presence, so before then he was rejecting people, but like the person before me, he accepted them. So that made me a little bit scared because I'm like, is it reject, accept one, reject, accept one, right? So when I got to his presence, like unlike other people, where like you greet them, they will respond. I greeted him, I was like, good morning, sir. He didn't respond to me. He was typing, but I still maintained eye contact. He was typing. The questions that I was asking other people, why are you going to the US? He didn't ask me. He just said, I see that you are going to Miami University for student affairs. I said, yes. He said, why are you going to Miami? So he went straight into the why question. And as I was talking, he was like, pause. Are you reading from somewhere? I said, no. It was like, why does it feel like you're reading from somewhere? Look at me. I want us to have a conversation. So that's why I say that I don't think I can take God out of it, because some people will just say, oh, are you reading for somewhere? Your visa is denied. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, then he asked me like why university. He asked me like how many schools I got admitted to. He asked me what I had been doing since I left college. Then he asked me why the scholarship. I feel like that was the question that threw me off a little, because it was like, I see that you had a lot of scholarship, because they asked me how many schools admitted me, how many schools gave me scholarship. I said 6. I said that you have a lot of scholarship. How did you get this scholarship? And also, you had my I-20, so you saw that this money is more than the money that you are supposed to, like, how did you get this? I'm like, yeah, the normal generic answer. They saw that Megusi was like, yeah, I know you're a good student. What did you do to get this scholarship? And then I explained to him, like, why I submitted my application, I interviewed with a lot of departments, and then Residence Life decided that, they wanted to give me a chance and all. And then he looked at me and was like, what was your bachelor's degree in? I said, English language and education. And he said, oh, education. I said, yes. He was like, I'll be giving you a chance. And that's how he said your visa has been out. I did not hear anything. He said again after that. So that was just like, he didn't really ask me a lot of questions, because when I went to the interview, I was already preparing. What will you do when you come? He didn't ask me that. What will you do? Why are you doing student affairs? I was already prepared. Like, my head was hot, but he didn't get to ask me a lot of questions. He asked me the why Miami question twice. That's something else. They might want to throw you off. They asked me the why Miami question twice. He asked me why Miami University. Again, he came to ask me, said, you said you got 6 admission. Why not go to these other universities? But I already knew that he was asking me why Miami again. So I responded again with why Miami. So yeah.
I see, very sensitive topic. Right now, most Nigerians are unable to go for visa interview in their home country. As somebody from Nigeria, I mean, you could see yourself in their shoes and stuff like that. What are the options for them? What should they do?
So something I've been saying is we should just keep praying, right? Because I feel like it's a ode, and ode can be altered. So just praying. I know some people are still like doing the whole admission thing. I know, like, I had a friend that is applying for 2026 with the hope that things will get better. And if it doesn't get better, they will defer to 2027. But something I can also tell people is start looking into other countries. There are thousands of countries in this world. Start looking at other countries. There's UK, there's Canada, there's Australia. Canada also offers fully funded scholarship. Australia has fully funded scholarship. Even UK, there's the Chevening scholarship, there's the Commonwealth scholarship. Start looking into other countries. That does not mean that you should give up on your American dream. You can apply to American schools, but you can also apply to other countries as well. So that's like the best thing I can say right now, because right now nobody even knows what is going to happen tomorrow, and these are things that you cannot control. So just do your best, continue to pray to God. We are all, if you're whatever way you know how to call God, continue to pray to God, and I know that success will be assured for all of us, including myself.
Have you ever been home since you came to the US?
I was home in last year. I just came back from Nigeria last year.
Oh, so I see. I was going to ask you why you miss home. That means you went for.
That does mean I don't miss home. I miss home now, but not like me. So for me, I feel like from a young, I went to boarding school from GS2. So I'm so used to not being at home. My mom used to look at me like, am I sure I gave birth to a girl or I gave birth to a guy? I've been used to like being so far away from mom. I mean, I miss home, especially when like there are events happening back home and then you are not a part of it and then they are sending you pictures. Of course, you miss home. Something else I want to say about like the visa thing is your visa application starts from when you're filling your DS-160, not on the day of the actual interview. So when you're filling your DS-160, make sure that you're filling and you're inputting the right thing. Please, before you submit, if you need to read it again, if you need to send it out to people to read again for you, please do that. Make sure you are filling the right thing, because that is the record they are looking at. Sometimes when you write something on your DS-160 and you're saying something else in your visa interview, it's contradicting. So I just wanted to note that.
What was very difficult to get used to? Was it the weather? I know Miami, Ohio, a little bit colder. Was it the accent, the food? What was difficult to get used to?
Food. I feel like with weather, the weather was good because I came in the summer. I came in July, so I was able to transition with them. So it was good, like, to see those different elements of the weather. But it was the food. When I first came, I was always eating pizza. Like, they nicknamed me the pizza lady. And like, how we use spice in our food. I just had to learn how to, because when I came to this country, I did not know how to cook. My sister, I had a sister at home. She was the one always cooking. So I had to just go to YouTube and learn how to cook, because I was like, but now I cook very well, okay? But yeah, the food, I had to get used to the food.
The scholarship you had would be the dream for every international student. Getting a scholarship that will pay for your fees, it will give you stipends, it will also give you accommodation. This is something everybody would want to have. We appreciate you for sharing your journey and your experience with us. Remember that if you've not subscribed, you have to subscribe to the Catching Up with Ola YouTube channel, where she shares all her experience. She also gives you an opportunity to get in touch with her if you need assistance to go through your process. Ola, you have a master class coming up. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so my master class is in February, and basically I'll just be like showing you everything that I did, practical class. So it's going to be like about 4 hours long, where I show you like how I moved from like my school search to how I applied for admission, how I applied for this specific scholarship. So we'll basically be talking about the US, the UK, and then Canada. So if you want to know more in depth about that, I would say reach out to Fred, and Fred can connect you with me, just because it is just an idea that is getting fleshed out this April.
Yeah.
So I don't really have like application link because I'm still working with my team, but you can reach out to Fred and Fred can connect you with me, or my email is on my YouTube channel. Once you send me an email, I typically respond to email, except I'm busy. The only reason I don't respond to email is some people will say, "Hi, how are you doing?" I'm like, you don't need anything. If you need something, like for me to even see your email, and I'm seeing your email, and the only thing I'm saying is, "Hi, how are you doing?" Uncle, go straight to the point of why you are messaging me. So that's the only reason I don't respond to email. But if you tell me exactly what you are looking for, I would respond to your email. So
it's been a great session. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. It's almost like 2 hours, consistent, valuable information that would improve your life if you want to study abroad. There's a lady I speak to, Kelly, who says that the opportunity to move outside your home country does something to your brain. It opens you up to a lot of opportunities, information, ideas, how people are living and all that. And this is what this channel is dedicated to doing. So Ola, thank you very much for coming through. We really appreciate. I think we should do this for the second time, right? Like the conversation we're not something like we should do this some other time. We really appreciate you. Any final words to everybody who tuned in today?
So something I want to say is that know that if you do not start, you don't know if you can do something. You need to start. Of course, there are
that's a punchline quote right there. Repeat it. That's a punchline right there.
If you do not start, you don't know that you can do something. You need to start. Of course, it can be overwhelming. We come here, we talk about scholarship. Again, it's been a long time, but I remember how overwhelming everything was for me at that particular point in time. And you cannot say because you are overwhelmed, you won't start. Just start from whatever little thing you want to start from. Making sure that at least you are watering, like when you have a plant, if you don't water that plant will die. I've had a plant before, but until I got a plant and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be intentional about watering this plant. So that is the first thing. And then the second thing is, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. But the second thing is, I can't remember the second thing, but it's just about, the second thing is, I know majority of you've been attending webinar. TF will do live, you will attend. Maybe Ola will do live, you will attend. So many other YouTubers, TikTokers, you are literally following everybody. But the thing that is stopping you from being where they are is that you've not made that decision to say that I want to study abroad, I want to apply. It might be due to different things. It might be, I don't have money. Let me bust your bubble. When I was applying, again, I didn't involve my parents. The work I was doing in Lagos was literally nothing to write home about, but I still made it work. I will wake up in the middle. I'm going to work the following morning. I'll wake up in the middle of the night because the subscription in the middle of the night was cheaper. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and that's how I was doing my school set, middle of the night. When I have little break at work, there was one girl, the girl is still in Nigeria, and I've been telling her, auntie, move abroad. Every time she would see me during break, browsing school, be like, all these schools that you are browsing that you will not even go. She was the first person I told when I got to I said, auntie, remember this thing that you told me then? Well, I need to let you know that I'm already in the US, because it was just a good thing for me to tell her, like, I was doing something that you felt like it wasn't going to be possible, but I want to show you that I made it possible. So just start. Don't overthink it. Once you start overthinking it, you will start finding excuse to never start. Start, and with God on your side, again, pray. You can do all of these things, right? But if there's no superior power that is backing you up. So that's my advice for you. I wish you all the best.
Awesome. It's been a great session. Thank you so much, Ola, for coming through. Ben, let's see. Let's wrap up. Ben, what's the final words so that we can wrap up?
Oh, I think all that I would want to say is that people shouldn't let the word study abroad to scare them. You know, when you say study abroad, it's very simple. What it means is that move from your country where you are and then study in a different country. That is all study abroad is about. So it's not anything that should scare you. So if you're able to follow some of the insightful information we are giving you on every Saturday, I'm sure the process is going to be easier. So be positive always and believe in God that one day, things will also work out for you. So I think this is what I want to share today.
All right, great. It's been a great session. Ben is in the UK, a huge member of the Fred Effect team. He was my co-host for today. Thank you for tuning in. It's been another insightful episode of the Study Abroad podcast with the Fred Effect. Remember, we were streaming on TikTok, we were streaming on YouTube. On YouTube, we have about 180,000 family members. That's a huge social media platform when it comes to studying abroad. And then on Facebook, we have 160,000 family members. On TikTok, we are over 210,000 family members. On X is about 50,000 family members. And then on Instagram, we are about 31,000 family members. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. And it's been close to 10 years of consistent information on how you can study abroad with credibility and also with personal experience going through the process. We do this with a fear of God and knowing that, the work we are putting in has improved a lot of lives. Whenever I step foot on any campus, I have a lot of people coming to me. Oh, Fred, I saw your video, and that's what helped me get here. This is the impact we've been making over the years. And this is not a 9-day wonder. We didn't just wake up and get things done. This has been years of putting in the work, and we have consistently been consistent over the years on all our social media platforms. If you know somebody who wants to study abroad, please refer them to the Fred Effect platforms, either on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram. Also, if you need help to go through your process, it's simple. Send us a direct message on Instagram. If you need help paying your service fee, visa application fee, enrollment deposit, the team can facilitate your payment. Send us a direct message on Instagram. On Instagram, we respond very quickly. Just search for the Fred Effect. It is verified. You can call us over there. You can send us a message. You can send us a document, so it makes it super easier. We also have a mentorship program you can sign up for. We have a one-on-one session. If you need somebody to handle your entire application for you, send us a message on Instagram. The team will be super happy to help you. We've done this for years, and the experience, the opportunity to assist thousands of people, the help we've granted to people is amazing. Next week, we'll come your way with another episode of the Study Abroad podcast. Please be positive. Understand that everything will be fine. The name has been the Fred Effect. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Yeah, I forgot. Before I go, I have to give shout outs to the team members. So shout outs to the members of the Fred Effect team. We have a whole team that puts this thing together. It will be unfair not to give them shout outs. So shout outs to Josie, shout outs to Louisa, also shout outs to Ben in the UK, shout outs to Memshak, Emmanuel, shout outs to Kafi, shout outs to our designer as well, John. Everybody's doing a great job to put this whole thing together. So yeah, that's it.